Hey, what's up guys? It's Spectrum back here with a brand new video review. This time I'm going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z Super Majin Buu action figure. So let's get started. We got the packaging here. I'm going to go through this quickly. This is the front of the box. That's the side. That's the bottom. That's the top. Other side. And then there's the back. There you go. Alright, so let's get into Super Buu. Okay, so getting a closer look at the figure here, I really do quite like the way that he looks in a neutral pose. He does look pretty decent. His legs are a bit cut up, but we'll get into that later. I do actually really like the paint application on this figure. The sculpt work in the pants is actually pretty nice. You know, the sculpt work on the musculature of the figure is all pretty nice and stuff like that. However, he only really looks good when he's in a vanilla pose, or like if he's doing something with his arms only and not his legs. And yeah, I mean, if you own this figure, if you've seen a review on him before, you probably have. You're probably just watching to see if he's worth getting because he was just recently re-released. Now, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, I do think he was a good purchase. I don't think he's a bad figure by any means in like a grand scale of, you know, everything considered. However, there are definitely things about this figure that I don't particularly favor. Some choices were made to where I'm not a big fan of those, and etc. So I was going to, you know, maybe save this for the articulation section. However, we'll just get into it right now. Let's go ahead and get his arms out of the way. The biggest flaw with this figure is his freaking legs, man. Okay, so firstly, let's just do this real quick. If you've never seen this figure before, you're in for a shock. If you do the splits with him, you have the hip joints sticking out at the bottom. And then if you bring his leg forward for like a kicking pose, it looks even worse. From the side, you can kind of hide it by like rotating and stuff like that to where he's sort of, you know, kicking sideways, and that's okay, I guess. That doesn't look too bad. However, if you want him doing that sort of standing atop the rock pose that he does, you're always gonna, well, I guess if it's like this, it doesn't really matter, but if you have it like out to the side, there's no sculpt work in here at all, so it just looks kind of flat, and if you bring it any further than like right here, it looks really bad. The second thing, take a look at how his leg looks when it's bent. His thighs, it shows better from over here, are extremely long. Now, I don't think this is actually show accurate. I feel like in the show, his knees were a bit higher up. I think his thighs maybe came up to like this fold right here, but that would be it really. I think this is way too long. I think the knee joint, while it is sculpted through and it looks nice and it covers everything up, for one, he can't get more than 90 degrees. And a Figuarts figure not getting more than 90 degrees on their knee joint is not a great thing. All that aside, he is a gorgeous looking figure. You have shading all on the pants right here. You have the nice sculpt work up top, like I said. However, there is another issue I need to point out with this guy really quick before we move on. You see that right there? I'm 99% sure those scratches on him, I think you can see that, yeah, you can, are from crunching him forward. And that's not good. This should have been the soft plastic. This should have been the hard plastic. That way, when you crunch them forward, you're not scratching anything up on this soft plastic surface. Anyway, enough with all that. You guys know what time it is! Size comparison times commence. Here we have him next to the Saiyan Racer on Earth Goku. And if you're a new viewer to my channel, and if you haven't seen my reviews on these figures that I'm doing in the size comparison, go ahead and check those out. They're probably already on the channel. Here he is next to Full Power Super Saiyan Goku, and I gotta say, these two look pretty good together. Here he is next to Super Saiyan Vegeta. This is the older model. They look pretty good together as well. Here he is next to the Dragon Ball Z Piccolo, and they also look pretty good together. I think this scale is actually pretty workable. Here he is next to the Figuarts Cell, and these two also look pretty good together. I think this is a pretty good size between the both of them. Here he is next to Krillin, who he just absolutely towers over. That's also pretty good. And last but certainly not least, here he is next to the Mafex Into the Spider-Verse Spider-Gwen, who will actually be my next review, so stay tuned for that. Alrighty, then it's time to go over the accessories here. And before we actually get into his accessories, this guy does actually come with some accessories for Fat Boo. He comes with this extra Fat Boo face and this energy effect, which goes on the head tentacle of that Fat Boo face. So yeah, that's pretty cool if you have the Fat Boo. I'm looking to get him eventually. However, let's get into his accessories. So, right out of the box, he actually comes with these hands on him, which doesn't make much sense to me, but it is what it is. They're nice. The paint on the nails is actually pretty nice, and for every single one of his hands, it's pretty nice, you know. For the Figuarts hands, it's just like every other SH Figuarts figure you own. And then here are the two heads that he actually comes with. This one, I actually quite like this one a lot. And this one might be my favorite, yet it's a bit expressive for my display. But you have the extra added teeth piece at the bottom, which actually really brings this entire face together, and it looks really good. I think this one is my preferred one in terms of my display. However, like I said, I think that screaming face is my favorite. And just to pop the heads off, you just, you know, remove and then take the other head and then firmly place it upon the neck joint. It's that easy. Let's get into the articulation. Articulation times, head to toe. Here we go from the head down. All right. Super Boo can look up extremely far. That is actually really good. However, if you go a little bit too far, you will get some small gapping right here. So be careful and be sure to readjust that neck joint to where he's looking more flush with his body. He can look down that far, but with the screaming face, he can only look down maybe about that far. Head and neck go side to side. They're both on, so the head is on a double ball peg and then the neck is on a single ball peg. So you get a lot of range of motion out of that. Shoulders can do a full 360. Out that far, which is actually really good. And that far you have upper body rotation. The butterfly joint brings his arms all the way out. Yes, if you go to the side, it looks ugly. However, I am not faulting the figure for this because the functionality that you get out of this is absolutely insane. So eat your heart out, Anthony's Customs. Double jointed doubles, which go in that far. The only thing I'll get about these is this, but that's still better than what the bottom half is doing. And then the wrists are on a single ball peg. In terms of abdominal articulation, you can crunch forward that far at both points, crunch back barely anything at both points. He has rotation at the upper part and the lower part, so you can actually get all his twisties in there. Legs can kick forward that far, kick back that far, which is actually pretty good. Upper thigh rotation, the legs. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention is this hanging diaper is extremely ugly, but he can do the full-on splits even though it's ugly as hell. Upper thigh rotation, I don't know if I already said that. Double jointed knees, which only get 90 degrees. Again, not something that I like. And the ankles are on double ball pegs, so they actually get a lot of range of motion. And then he has toe articulation as well. One more thing before we move on. These do not rotate, nor are they supposed to. If you rotate it, it will pop off, but don't worry, just pop it right back on and you will be good to go. All right, let's move on to the conclusion of this review. Final thoughts, comments, and concerns about this figure. Final thoughts. I like, yet I dislike this figure, and I've already explained everything that I don't like about him. So let's talk about what I like. I like the sculpt. I like his accessories, even though he doesn't come with that much. That's kind of, I mean, it's freaking Majin Buu. Like, you're not really supposed to have much with this guy. I like the upper half of the body quite a bit. Lower half, I know it's a 2.0 figure. However, I'm still going to point out every issue that I have with the figure. Lower half is just complete and utter dog water besides the sculpt work and the shading on the legs. I mean, that's it really. And it looks good in a neutral pose. I can't lie. Like, you know, you even get some sculpted work on the shoes, which is really nice and it's show accurate. Oh, so the reason why this review may feel like it's a little bit less effort put into it, it's not necessarily that. I'm just trying to beat around the bush a lot less because I've noticed that my view time on my Venom review, my average view time was 2 minutes and 26 seconds. That is not good. So for one, I'm trying to shorten the reviews. I'm trying to get my points across more quickly. That way I ramble on less. With ADHD, this can be a challenge. However, I'm doing my best, and hopefully you guys like this style of review better than my older style to where I just talk about literally every little thing about the figure and just all that. Anyway, final verdict for this figure. I will give him a fair 6.5 out of 10. Yeah. Would I pay $70 for this re-release? No. I would try to find them somewhere for like $55 to $60. Just save yourself a little bit of money on this guy. Don't pay full retail. If you can help it. But if you absolutely want to pay $70, that is completely your choice. You know, that is your call to make. Anyway, that's it for this review. Stay tuned for the Spider-Gwen review from Mayfex coming up next. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at spectrum.reviews. My Facebook is Spectrum's Reviews, so go ahead and search that up. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace!